One of the biggest debates in golf is how high should you tee the ball when you're hitting driver? Why is there such an array of different tee heights? That's what we're going to find out today. Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm Gary Martin, and in today's video we're going to be testing with white 2-inch tees, pink 2 1/4-inch tees, and orange 2 3/4 tees. Now, you might not use Castle tees, but this video will still apply to you, because what we're going to be testing is the importance of consistently teeing your ball up the same height. And we're going to be having a look at the differences at what happens to ball flight, so launch and spin, when I hit a driver with different coloured tees. And I think that will give us some sort of, information to determine how important it actually is to make sure we consistently tee the ball up the same height, and to see if there's any patterns. And I think, like most videos we've been doing recently, it's not only going to help you guys, to determine whether teeing it up the same height is actually good and going to help you become more consistent, but I'm certainly going to be able to tell what tee height is best for me, because, I'm assuming, because I always use sort of 2 1/4 length tees, that's the best tee for me. But this test could prove that I'm using the wrong tee, because I've never done it before. So let's get stuck in. So we're going to start off by having 6 shots using the white tee. Now, if you've been watching the channel, if you're not new to the channel, you'll already know that I actually launch the ball pretty low and it spins quite low as well. So I don't think this white tee is really going to do me any favours. But let's get 6 drives out there. Because I could be wrong. I mean, we all have this perception of what we should be launching it and spinning it. So believe it or not, that ball is still sitting a quarter above the top of the driver. So, some of you guys out there might consider that to be high enough. I mean, to me, it looks incredibly low compared to, how I normally tee it up. But I'm sure some of you would consider that to be high enough. And I've got to admit, I don't find it as easy to hit. I feel as though I can't hit up on the ball as much. Which I think we'll see with the numbers when we come in to conclude. Right, over to pink. I've got to admit, guys, and I'm sure there's other people at home that are a bit like this. Being a traditional golfer, as I call myself, when I first got into golf, you had white long tees or you had short mixture of wooden tees. There were all this sort of fancy Castle tees and bamboo Castle tees and all this. So we never had sort of measured tees. We just used to tee it up, and have a good calculated guess. But I tell you what, that tee height is lovely. I would say that is exactly how I have it. I use actually white tees with sort of yellow marks on, so I can see where I'm putting the tee in. But that looks perfect, and that's 2 1/4. But having said that, when you consider how low I launch it and how low I'm spinning it, maybe an orange tee could be better for me. Let's see what happens with pink. I had to delete a couple of shots with the white ones where I'd hit an anomaly, so we can get this data as accurate as possible. That's the go-to shot. So it starts left, fades, or just sort of stays on that line, which I'm enjoying. I think I'd feel really at home with that tee. I actually like the look of that against this driver. Don't usually use these pink Castle tees, but the bamboo ones look a bit classier than plastic. I can feel myself swinging through it with more confidence. It wouldn't surprise me if my club speed's a little bit higher with this tee, And it's only because when the ball's sat up nice and like, you can imagine it being on a bit of a tuft of grass and you fancy it. I just fancy it sat on that tee. That white one, I felt a bit, ooh, you know, like when you're trying to hit one, like a punchy one into wind, it just felt a bit too like low. That one, I just feel as though if I hit it, miss it, it's going to go up and spin, and when the white one, we're just going to be like aggressively bad. Like if it were going to be bad, it were going to be aggressive, so a bit more nervous, whereas this one I feel I've got that confidence to hit it. It's a missile. That's a bit cutter. That's what I wanted. That's what I asked Sam for, didn't I? So that's what I got. So I've not had to take one out there with pink, which I suppose it's my go-to tee. It's that height that I really like. This is going to be the interesting one because I'm going to be teeing it much higher than I normally tee it. But actually, thinking about my numbers, it could be the tee that's better for me. Wow, that's scary. I'm going to have to show you a close-up of that one. That's kind of like, there'll be a lot of golfers watching this channel or watching this video today and probably thinking, Gaz, I would not use that tee because I'd be hitting roof. That's sky territory, that tee. So I've got two options. I've either got to hover it, which I'm not going to do. I'm going to stay true to this test. I'm going to try and hit up on the ball. If I hit down on that, it's going to be up here. It's going to be hitting roof. So I've got to make sure that I try and hit up on this a little bit now. I've got to do that to strike the ball clean. I think with my normal swing, I'm going under that. So this tee's forcing me to sort of feel like I've got to hit up on the ball a little bit more. Sorry if I sound a bit full of cold today. I think we've got a flu bug going around up at Huddersfield Golf Club, and you get rid of it and 2 days later you've got it again. I can't seem to get rid of this one. Have I got orange? Yeah. My eyes. Don't know if I picked a pink one up by accident there. Yeah. If you're wondering why I'm staring and looking at this screen a little bit more and a bit more intrigued, it's because until I thought about doing this test, I weren't really thinking how much this could help me personally, because I'm dying for a little bit more launch and spin. I'll show Sam these numbers later and see what he thinks. I mean, I certainly could adjust to that tee. It does make me feel a bit nervous and a bit uncomfortable. I'm sure I could adjust to it. Now I'm getting confidence with driver. I'd have never done this before. So if we start to have a look at this data, we're going to start by looking at, club data to start with. So first of all, I always like to look at, to see how consistent things have been. I think what it probably shows is club speed wise, it's varied within 3 miles per hour, but it's progressively got quicker as we've hired the tee. So 100 miles per hour with white tee, 101 with pink tee, and 103 with orange tee. I know some subscribers say, Gaz, you swing it faster than that, but I don't actually swing it that fast. I'm only using stiff flex, guys. It might appear like that on screen, but that is my club speed. I'm swinging a lot smoother these days. I've got a little bit of a bad back, so I don't hit it, that hard. Now, I think attack angle's very telling. If we look at attack angle, again, there's been a progressive you know, improvement in attack angle. So white tee's 3.7 down. I mean, that's that's horrendous. Pink tee 2.6 down. And actually, I've nearly got neutral with orange. I'm still down, but by 0.4. Now, I can't wait to look at these other numbers because that's got to have helped my ball data. And wow, I mean, let's start by, I mean, ball speed's pretty consistent with white and pink. Obviously, there's been a dramatic increase in ball speed with the orange. I were swinging it faster, but I think that came down to probably a little bit more confidence as the tee got higher. If we look at launch angle, 9.1 with white, we've gone up to 9.9 with pink, we've gone up to 11.8 with orange. So you see how it can really increase the launch. What I'm surprised about is spin. Spin has not changed that much, which is a surprise to me. You know, I'm not a master fitter, but I just assumed that if I was, you know, obviously creating more launch off the face, and I'd probably create more backspin. But obviously, Sam's custom fitted this driver for me. One of the things we tried to do keep that club face open, so we had to use, you know, we had to loft the driver down. But, you know, I'm still lacking that little bit of spin. It could be that I need to use a different ball, possibly, and I've not experimented with ball. Maybe that could help increase the spin. Anyway, it's not about me entirely. Distance, look at that. You know, it's a perfect pattern of an increase in distance. 273 with white, which is below what I'd normally hit it. Pink, 283. I'd usually say I'm about a 285 to 300 person. And then orange, 299. And I think, you know, just look at the simple stuff. Trajectory, white, pink, you know, orange, a perfect pattern there. Probably had the best dispersion with pink, if I was telling the truth. Remember, it's the first time I've ever used orange tees. I've never used anything as high as 2 3/4, and I've actually got the most distance, and dispersion is not too bad either. You know, I probably would take orange over pink. Certainly wouldn't use white. I mean, that dispersion's not great. Yeah, wow. I think that just shows you how important it is to make sure that you're teeing it not just the right height, but the same height. I think after that test, it's definitely safe to say you need to firstly make sure you're using the right tee height. I wasn't. I'm going to be using orange tees from now. I think that's going to help me hit up on the ball. And most importantly, do you know what? I might even go to the orange castle tee. I might stop being a tee snob and just use an orange castle where I can consistently get it that high, because I can hand on heart say that, you know, that I've been guilty in the past as a good amateur golfer using white tees, you know, having a little bit of a guess, and I think it shows you how you can be a quarter of an inch out, and, you know, how dramatically that can affect your numbers, and how important it is to make sure that you're teeing the ball up the same height every time. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed that little bit of an experimental video. I'm loving these tests. I'm not only improving my game, but you know, it's giving me opportunity to share some of this stuff with you and hopefully get you thinking about your game. And make sure you hit the subscribe button. Let's get to 25,000. And yeah, I'll be seeing you in a couple of days' time. Bye.